Hello and welcome to a new episode of Coptic Las. In today's lecture, we're finally done with the vowels and we are ready to move on to actually learn the consonants of the Coptic language. So for the next few lectures for a while, we'll just take certain groups of consonants and start learning them, learning words for them, just like we did with vowels, but very much with consonant. We're also going to learn the rules and things of that nature. So as I said in the last lecture, this is not the last time you'll see vowels. You will be seeing them again as we go through the curriculum. However, for now, we're just going to take a little bit of a break from the vowels and start learning the consonant. So the first group of consonants that we're going to learn are all the very easy ones because they look and sound like the English letters. Like you can kind of look at the letter and tell what it would be in English, more or less. First is me, okay, here. And me starts with an M, so you could guess it's an M. And it kind of looks like an M too, you know, so it's kind of has it going for both. So let's put an M for that one. So I go here and put M. Okay, so very straightforward. Next one is Ni. Ni is an N. It looks like an N even, so it's very easy, very straightforward. Kabba, K. Tav and Sima, I have intentionally put in a box because they have a different pronunciation for words of Greek origin, which what we're going to cover the next lecture. So I just start them, I put them in a box with a star just to denote that those are going to be special when we start learning Greek words. So Coptic is made of like, many of the words in Coptic are just like Greek words that have been written in the Coptic letters. Okay? And so because they're originally Greek, they apply the Greek rules for pronouncing those letters. So Tav and Sima are two of the three letters that we're going to learn throughout all of the consonants that actually are different in pronunciation when the word is Greek. So we're just going to cover two of them, and then we're going to cover the last one that has a different pronunciation in Greek later on. So hold tight on that. For now, we're only talking about Coptic. So forget everything about Greek. We're just talking about like Coptic words, like so words in Coptic language that are originally Coptic, not originally Greek. So stuff would be a T. And Sima looks like a C, but it actually makes an S sound. And this is the only S you'll see in Coptic. So you'll never see a C. When you do like a Coptic letter and you translate it to, and you convert it to the English form of it, you'll never see a C in anything. So let's go through them quickly. Mi, M, Ni, N, Kabba, K, Taf, T, Sima, S. Okay? So now that we know all the letters that we're going to learn today, we're going to start taking each one. I put the uppercase and lowercase version for each, as always, to remind you of how they look like. Because remember, it's important that you use the capital one if we're talking about proper nouns. Because like I said multiple times before, this will be very important for us when we actually start learning certain letters where it does make a difference if the word is proper noun or not for the pronunciation. So start now getting into the habit of knowing if a word is proper noun or not. So let's get started and learn our first word. As always, I'll write the word first and then I'm going to talk about what it means. And those words, by the way, the 5 words I'm going to give you here, you're responsible to memorize those words because they will come on your next test. So make sure you understand them, practice them at home like I said. Try to replace, whenever you want to say those words in English, try to replace them with the Coptic that you're going to learn today, so you kind of get used to the letter and learn them. So let's get started with me. So let me write the word first and then we're going to talk about it. So for me, this is our word. Okay? This is the word we're going to learn. This word is very easy. Let's go through it one letter at a time. Mi is the letter we're learning. We said it's an M. Okay, so we put an M. O is one of the vowels we learned it before. That's always an O, right? So we just put an O. This letter called Lola is an L. You'll learn it later on, but here you go. You're gonna start learning it now. But we're using this as an example for the Mi. So anyway, Lola's L, and then this Huri, you'll see a lot in all the words we learned today, is an H. So this makes the word mole. Okay, and so mole means candle. Okay, and the rule is it's always M. You will see that all of those would be always something. So always N. Okay? So mol, candle. Next word for ni we're gonna learn is, again, here's the letter we're learning is the ni. Notice how I'm using the lowercase version because none of the words we're learning today are proper nouns. So keep that in mind. So N, O, and then, see, this is the O, we see, and the huri again. See how this makes it easy? I try to pick words for you that are similar so you'll not have to learn a lot of letters. This would be no. And so no means rope. Okay? And this, of course, the rule is that it's always N. That is the next word for ni. So mi, ni, kabba is the third letter we're going to learn. And this one, I'm going to also give you a word for it. First, let me write it. And then talk about it. Okay? So again, the letter here, we're using this as an example for the kabba. So this is K, right? Alpha is always an A. Huri is always an H. And then iota, you remember? We said iota, it's a Y if it's preceded or followed by a vowel. Otherwise, it's always an I. So here iota, before it there is huri. Huri is not one of the vowels. After it there is nothing, so it's not a vowel. Before or after, so this is definitely an I. So this would be I. So we get the word kahi. Kahi. And kahi means earth or land. As always, whenever I give you two meaning, you're not required to know both. You can just know one or the other. I don't care. Just pick one and learn. So earth or land. And then that's, of course, always K. Almost there. Two more for the Coptic and then we wrap up this lecture. So next letter is Tav. And for this, we're also going to learn a word. By the way, it's not always the first letter that I use as an example for the word. I just try to get like words that are all kind of have more or less the same letters, so it's easier for you. So the word we're going to learn, this has the huri that we have been seeing a lot, which is an H. So let's put an H. Alpha, A. And then this is Tav, which we said is a T. So you would be under the impression to pronounce this as hat, right? Because you see H, A, T, and you think hat. No, however, in Coptic it's hot. And hot means silver. And this we use as example as the Tav, which Tav is always T for Coptic. Tav is always T for Coptic words. If it's Greek, it's not always going to be a T. But this is for the next lecture. This is why I have this divider line here. Last thing we're going to learn is Sima, which is the word for it. Let me write it down as always. This is definitely one of my favorite words, but I also want you to be careful about something so you don't misspell it. So first the Sima. We said Sima is an S. If you ever finding yourself writing a C when you're trying to put an English pronunciation, you're doing it wrong. There is only an S, okay? So you start with an S for C, Sima. Careful. Those two letters are not the same. The first one is the omega vowel, which makes AU sound. And then this is mu, or me, in Coptic that we learned up there, right? So me is an M. And then finally, this is alpha that we know always to be an A. This would make the word soma. Soma. And soma means body. And this is a word that's always S. For Coptic, if it's a Coptic word, it's always S. Okay? For Greek words, sometimes it's an S and sometimes it's not. Okay? So that's soma. So those are all the words we're required to learn for this lecture. So I'm just going to review them quickly and then we're going to wrap it up. So, first letter from the consonants we learned today is mi, M. The word is mol, means candle. Ni, N, no, rope. Kabba, K, kahi, earth or land. Tav, T, hot, silver. And finally, Sima, S, soma, body. And with that, we're done with this lecture. Thank you so much for listening.